Merci de choisir la radio des auditeurs pour votre information. Bonsoir à vous. Good evening, Ivan Suliam Djobati.
And a very good evening to you, Bilingue De 18H. Hello everyone, let us take our top stories.
Le gouvernement évalue le logiciel de gestion des carrières des fonctionnaires de l'administration publique au Cameroun. Le logiciel Aigle était au centre d'une conférence de presse ce jour au ministère de la fonction publique et de la gestion administrative.
And the final phase of the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco is slowly shaping up following the semi-final fixtures set to be played on Wednesday 14, 2026. Among the fixtures are Nigeria Super Eagles, who will be crossing the paths of host nation, the Atlas Lions of Morocco. Stay tuned as we dissect all of these news in this newscast.
Royal Soir, première partie. Olivier Ndema et Paul.
Elections Cameroun et les CAM se donnent pour objectif de densifier le fichier électoral camerounais dans lequel l'on dénombre en ce moment 8 millions d'inscrits. La direction générale de l'ECAM l'a réaffirmé lors d'une cérémonie officielle en l'antenne communale de Yaoundé 5 de l'ECAM. Écoutons Eric Essousset, le directeur général de l'ECAM, au cours de la cérémonie qui s'est déroulée ce lundi.
Le lancement officiel de la révision des listes électorales 2026. Et vous savez que c'est elle qui permet de toujours travailler pour avoir un fichier électoral sain, crédible et acceptable par tous les électeurs. Donc c'est pour cela que nous voulons profiter de cette occasion pour féliciter notre personnel qui se dévoue chaque année pour pouvoir faire le travail que tout le monde reconnaît et surtout pour permettre que nous puissions organiser des élections crédibles, apaisé, objectif et acceptable par tous pour que les résultats soient aussi acceptés par tous. Avec que le travail est perfectible, donc nous allons toujours continuer à travailler. Avec la critique ou sans la critique, il y a aussi des partis d'opposition qui nous ont félicités. Donc nous allons continuer à travailler pour toujours améliorer le travail parce que l'ECAM est déjà une institution crédible, mais nous allons continuer à travailler pour pouvoir corriger les aspects qui demandent encore à l'être. Je pense que dans ce sens, nous allons avancer.
Nous en parlions à l'entame, gestion et évaluation des carrières dans la fonction publique camerounaise. Un an après la mise en place du logiciel Aigle par le ministère de la fonction publique et de la réforme administrative, le ministre Joseph Lé a procédé à l'évaluation de cette application dont la mise en place est estimée à 82%. Le ministre Joseph Lé se réjouit après évaluation des avancées réalisées entre janvier 2025 et janvier 2026. Voici une attitude de ministre Joseph Lé.
Aigle introduit une innovation majeure, l'automatisation intégrale de plusieurs actes de carrière, notamment les avancements d'échelon, d'équité et de réduction des erreurs. Depuis janvier 2025, aucun dossier physique n'est requis pour le traitement de ces actes automatisés. Cette avancée a permis de réduire à moins de 25% le taux d'erreur et de diminuer de 70% le temps consacré à la gestion de la carrière et des anomalies liées aux effets financiers. Par ailleurs, plus de 15 000 actes de carrière hors avancement ont été traités, couvrant l'ensemble du cycle de vie des agents publics, du recrutement à la retraite, en passant par les promotions, la discipline et les récompenses. Aigle a pris son envol.
18h06 au quartier Etoameki, ici à Yaoundé. La même heure dans ce studio, vous écoutez Royal Soir, bilingue. Un couple qui vole en éclats, ce n'est plus un événement de nos jours au Cameroun. Les divorces seraient chaque année plus nombreux et selon des sources, les dossiers de demande de divorce ne passent plus inaperçus dans le flot des dossiers et affaires inscrits au rôle de nos tribunaux. Un coach et conseiller conjugal, Roger Mfondi, évoque la question dans ce reportage de Dorine Mbemi.
En 2018, une enquête relevait que le taux de divorce au Cameroun s'élevait à 6% au niveau national. Une autre étude a classé le Cameroun 13e pays africain ayant un taux de divorce les plus relevés. Et pourquoi ce phénomène? Roger Fondi, conseiller conjugal, explique les causes.
La première raison fondamentale, c'est que les gens ne sont pas préparés au mariage. Ils entrent parce qu'ils ont vu d'autres mariés, confondent amour, émotion, ils préparent beaucoup plus la cérémonie. La deuxième cause, c'est qu'il y a un vrai déficit de communication dans les couples. On ne sait plus comment parler, comment écouter, et puis les frustrations vont s'accumuler. La troisième cause, ce sont les gens de l'extérieur.
Pour être plus clair, il renforce ses propos en relevant le côté avare du conjoint ou conjointe.
C'est le développement de l'individualisme. Chacun pense qu'il doit être heureux d'abord avant de penser à nous. On refuse le compromis, on refuse l'effort. Et j'entends beaucoup me dire aujourd'hui, non, je ne peux plus faire d'efforts. Il y a aussi un développement de l'irresponsabilité chez les hommes et de l'arrogance chez les femmes. Ce ne serait pas suffisant. Parce que c'est aussi un phénomène qu'on a observé.
Des observateurs et des publications du ministère de la Justice notent une augmentation de la fréquence des divorces, faisant du divorce une tendance sociétale marquée. Comment en sortir? Roger Fondy, conseiller matrimonial, une fois de plus.
Commencer par la préparation au mariage. Ensuite, pour ceux qui sont mariés, il faut instaurer la culture du suivi conjugal. Donc nous pensons qu'il faut instaurer une culture du suivi conjugal et puis réhabiliter le dialogue dans le couple. Il faut que les gens apprennent à se parler, à se comprendre et que chacun prenne ses responsabilités.
Le divorce n'est donc plus un fait rare dans la société camerounaise.
Un phénomène qui grandit au Cameroun, c'est bien celui qui voit des individus dépouillés des accidentés de leurs biens à même la chaussée. Cette situation a causé un double accident de la circulation et 6 morts à Minkama sur l'axe Obala-Bachenga samedi dernier. Comment comprendre ce phénomène? Annie-Lisette Ambassa a échangé avec des Yaoundéens. Voici son reportage.
Ils sont très contents quand un camion se renverse quelque part.
Ça a été un mauvais comportement.
Ça là, il n'y a pas de solidarité.
La compassion envers un être de la même espèce n'est plus à l'ordre du jour. Le délit de non-assistance à personne en danger est sorti des esprits. L'individualisme et l'égoïsme sont deux règles. Lydie, entrepreneur, porte son regard.
L'être humain est enclin à un manque de solidarité envers autrui. C'est vraiment écœurant.
Visiblement, selon Hubert, chauffeur dans la ville de Yaoundé, la catastrophe d'un SAM il y a plusieurs années n'a pas servi de leçon aux populations. Des citoyens s'étaient rués sur le site de l'accident pour se ravitailler en carburant. Quelques minutes après, l'explosion s'est produite, laissant sur le carreau plusieurs morts. Bis repetita ce week-end à Minkama avec 6 morts qui auraient pu être évités.
Je peux vous dire que c'est la misère qui peut faire que quand un camion tombe, commence à se ravitailler. Si ce n'était pas la misère, les gens ne pourraient pas se comporter comme ça.
Sabine, commerçante, condamne avec la plus forte énergie ce comportement.
Moi, je vois ça comme un vol. Parce que au lieu de sauver la personne qui est là-bas, mais ils viennent d'abord pour porter la marchandise avant de venir regarder qu'il y a eu combien de morts.
Selon certains hors micro, Minkama n'est pas son premier accident du genre. Comme ce village, il y a plusieurs autres localités qui connaissent régulièrement des cas similaires. Du coup, d'autres y voient le côté obscur de la chose.
J'ai même entendu dire qu'il y a dans certaines localités où les initiés de là-bas font tout pour qu'il y ait ce genre d'incident, pour pouvoir renverser un camion de bière et récupérer les bières ou alors de l'huile ou alors je ne sais quelle autre marchandise que le camion peut porter.
Toutefois, la majorité s'accorde à dire que le malaise social et le manque d'éducation des populations seraient en partie la cause de ces attitudes.
La page internationale.
La présidente du Mexique, Claudia Sheinbaum, ne veut pas de soldats américains sur le sol mexicain. Le numéro 1 du Mexique l'a fait savoir à Donald Trump qui, depuis le 8 janvier dernier, envisage d'introduire des militaires américains au Mexique afin, dit-il, de combattre les cartels de la drogue.
La page sportive.
Cannes Maroc 2025, après la phase des quarts de finale, les demi-finales vont débuter ce mercredi avec dès 18h, nous parlons de mercredi, l'affiche Égypte-Sénégal et à 21h, Nigeria-Maroc.
The second part of the news in the English language with
Evans Williams Njobati.
Dear listeners, thanks for staying with us. The Minister of the Public Service and Administrative Reforms, Joseph Le, has held a press briefing today at the esplanade of his ministry in Yaoundé. The session aimed at reviewing a year of operation of the State's Personnel and Payroll Management System (EGL) was on discussion. The event also focused on the major advances in the modernization of public service management since the launch of the system in January 2025, highlighting achievements, challenges, and objectives for 2026. Meantime, Prime Minister Head of Government, Chief Dr. John Gute, will be receiving New Year 2026 wishes on Tuesday, January 13th, in a ceremony to hold at his cabinet esplanade as from 4 p.m. The event at the Star Building comes days after Head of State Paul Biya opened the way for New Year wishes to be received. In politics, the Director General of Elections at Elekam, Dr. Eric Esuse, has officially launched the annual revision of voters' registration list in Cameroon. The event that went underway in Yaoundé 5 Elekam branch in Kolmeseng aimed at boosting the electoral register, which has recorded over 8 million voters since the last campaign. Here is an excerpt of the Director General of Elections, Eric Esuse.
We are here to launch the revision of electoral list of this year 2026, and as you know, each year we have to do this operation to register the electors who have to be in the electoral list. So we think that we want to start this occasion to congratulate our personnel who do a very good job, as you know, and all has permit Elekam to organize fair, objective, and impartial elections. And we are going to continue to do that to improve our management of elections so that we can enhance our democracy every year. Thank you very much. For the improvement, you know that we have new kits. So that now we have behind us the kids that were old. Now we have the new kids that improve our management of registration, and I think that things are very well.
Dr. Eric Esuse speaking there on the microphone of Political Desk editor and editorialist Jean-Marie Anaba. Meantime, as Cameroon counts down to the upcoming municipal and legislative elections, election officials have been calling on eligible voters to massively register on the voters' registration list. One of them is Elise Cyril Damja, who exclaims on the importance of doing so.
We have distributed since the beginning of the year 42 new cards, and we still have in stock 27,816 voter cards. It is important for us to call on the stakeholders to sensitize their militants and sympathizers to go to the Elekam offices and withdraw their cards. We have registered so far 162 new potential voters. We have mobilized our teams on the spots where ID cards are being confectioned.
If you're just tuning in to Royal 88.4 FM, this is the Evening Balungo session. We are beaming live from the Thompson Studios of Royal 88.4 FM, your radio. For many Cameroonians, red oil is more than just an ingredient. It is a part of our daily life. But the recent seizure of containing palm oil in the West region have turned this kitchen staple into a potential health risk, with reports linking fraudulent red oil to serious illnesses. Consumers are now on alert, as Jeffrey Tachum spoke with residents in the capital city of Yaoundé and compiled this report for the news.
Following a recent operation by custom officers in Chang that led to the seizure of 70,000 liters of palm oil, questions are rising as to how to tell the difference between genuine red oil and the dangerous one.
One design and the one Basa, and then design is a good oil. Basa is that little one, the other one is white, the other one Basa, the quality oil, good one. His name is Basa.
But unfortunately, this is not always an easy task for reasons highlighted by Lovelin.
They use chemical to mix the oil. They are mixing it with the oil to make it to be red. It's going to put it inside the drum, shake it, and start putting it for people. When I'm in the market, it doesn't show that they have put oil. Until you push much or one tangy like that before you then discover that the oil show that you have put oil, just like water.
The recent seizure in Chang is a reminder that fake oil remains a real threat to public health. Beyond enforcement, consumer awareness and more strict market controls are important to keep contaminated products from family tables. Until then, buyers are urged to remain cautious.
And noting that this equally affects our health, we now move into health to say the National Association of Medical and Healthcare Professionals in Higher Education has held its General Assembly this weekend in Yaoundé. The meeting aimed at strengthening the training of its members for better patient care in the country. Nzemo Mark is the association's national coordinator who spoke on the microphone of our reporter Bertrand Mboua.
There's a time for everything, and we think that it's a time now that since this debate has been going on and it's really being piloted by ANEPES. You know, ANEPES is the association of those various schools that train us in the medical field. So we decided as professionals to come together to be able to give our own voices, to be able to give our own contribution to this debate that has been going on, to be able to see how we can be able to push forward the health system of our country. Because 50,000 of us are so many health professionals that cannot just be pushed aside. We need to be part of the debate, we need to be part of the solution. And that is where this our association, the National Association of Healthcare Professionals of the Higher Education, wants to be part of the solution to this problem that has been plaguing our nation for some time now.
A viral video has been circulating on social media showing a bakery in Yaoundé operating and doing production of pastries under very unhygienic conditions. The said practice was filmed and exposed by some council agents. Following these developments, our reporter Ngang Nadesh caught up with a consumer rights activist and compiled this for the news.
The disturbing footage has sparked widespread concern among Cameroonians, with many questioning the safety of food and products consumed outside the home. Prince Pondo is a consumer rights activist.
There is a framework law on food safety in Cameroon that requires producers to comply with a number of requirements. However, you see the conditions under which the bread and the cakes are produced, and the environment raises serious questions. This means that consumers have been poisoned. They have been forced to consume unsanitary products unfit for consumption, and that is a serious problem.
He explains the sanctions under Cameroonian law for such cases of businesses that fail to meet hygiene standards.
Regarding sanctions, there are administrative, financial, and criminal penalties. It is up to the competent authority to determine the appropriate type of sanction. However, in this case, the immediate action should be to close down the establishment, and then the authorities should support the organization in bringing it up to standards.
The activist concludes by urging consumers to be cautious and calls on the government to reinforce laws and ensure strict control to prevent the reoccurrence of such incidents.
Even in restaurants, not just in bakeries, if you don't want to eat food served in a restaurant, don't go because you see some terrible things there. We are asking the authorities to increase this kind of inspections and not just target a single establishment, but to have regular food inspection and control missions conducted by the competent authority. This will help protect the consumer.
Meanwhile, the management of the said bakery has called a press conference today to address the outburst and clear the air. The 2004 Public Health Law outlines specific guidelines for food handling, hygiene and sanitation. Non-compliance can lead to fines, closure or even imprisonment.
On to this human interest story. The lifeless body of a man was discovered at Carrefour Colbison in Yaoundé over the weekend, according to first-hand sources at the scene. The man was lynched on Friday night after being caught snatching a mobile phone from an individual. As at now, the corpse of the individual has not yet been identified, and the official statement is yet to be made. Several people have died and many injured in a Bachenga Central region after a heavy-duty truck swept them off the road while they were struggling to collect bottles of juices and other goods that fell off a truck as a result of accidents. This story adds to that of the Nsam disaster, where many were consumed in a fire while they were transporting fuel from a petrol train tanker that derailed. These incidents, however, reveals the attitudes Cameroonians adopt when an accident occurred in their area, which is going for goodies instead of victims involved in the accident. In this light, our reporter of Brigade interviewed some Cameroonians on what can account for such an attitude and compiled this report. Frank Crispin in this report.
Most Cameroonians we came across unanimously condemn the attitude portrayed by inhabitants whenever an accident occurs in their area.
A car cannot have an accident and you, for instead, washing to go and remove spare parts or whatsoever, instead of rushing the person to the hospital or checking on the person who was driving to see if he's still alive or what. For me, it's a very bad attitude.
For me, it is a very poor behavior and poor mentality. It's very poor because I cannot see where a truck will have an accident and the first thing, and maybe people are there struggling between life and death, and the first thing you can easily think of is to pick up what fell off from the ground.
Daisy seized the opportunity to recount a similar story she had experienced.
I can recall one time that there was a fire incident in Bamenda town. People were struggling to take out their things, but they were putting them outside somewhere instead of stealing them again. So this attitude is very bad, and I think something should be done.
Question on what then can be done, they reveal.
I think when an accident occurs like that, if there's means to alarm the military immediately to come and be at that place where they'll be able to control. They should not pick up anything. What you are picking up, how far are you even sure if it's good for consumption?
So that someone knows that when some things happen, let's just about take time to examine why this happened, how it happened, and try to be cautious.
When there's a situation like that, they should involve the police or the gendarmerie so that they should encircle the area and know what to do further. Take those who are injured to the hospital.
It is worth noting that such happenings are becoming more and more common, with the population taking pictures and videos when they encounter accidents or incidents for social media.
And from there, we'll move now to sports as we heard one of our top stories. The semi-final fixtures of the 2025 African Cup of Nations have been scheduled. The Pharaohs of Egypt will be facing the Teranga Lions of Senegal after they defeated Cote d'Ivoire 3-2. Senegal, on their part, took a slim 1-0 win over Mali over the weekend. As for the host nation, Morocco, they will be facing the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon fell to the Atlas Lions of Morocco 2-0 last Friday. And noting that polemics have erupted following the knocking out of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon opposed to the Atlas Lions of Morocco, sports consultants Lawrence Kede and former Indomitable Lions goalkeeper Vincent Onganzi say the team morale was killed by the poor officiating. Take a listen to them in this excerpt.
I've told the coach Pago that we can't play. We are not able to play. They don't want us to play because each time you have an action, the referee stops it. Each time the Moroccans are just touched a little bit, they fall. And that one-sided officiating has hit the morale of the Cameroonians. But we said it that against Morocco, you need to be psychologically very, very strong. We have been defavored even by the poor officiating.
We got into that game a little bit tense. See the beginning of the game, then we could not display what we usually do, and we were just defending. With Morocco, you could see a fear. Then, if we did not show that tension that was having us, I believe that we would have done some. Because those guys, those boys, they had what it takes to win that game. But I believe that with the lack of experience, they managed to lose that game at the end.
And it's on that note that we end these at 6 p.m. news. More information will be for you during the 8 a.m. news tomorrow. The team keeping you company is comprised of Ulrich Kenwe, who handles the technical dashboard, video editing on our Facebook and YouTube live pages is Brian Bida and Boris Pedogmo. Production assistance was conducted by Claude Bauken and Jeffrey Tacho. News editing Bertrand Wana and Mapala Zita. Editorial coaching Ebebela Samari. Coordination Roger Kiek. General supervision Reverend Pastor Bisay Emmanuel. À encore, my name is Ivan William Jubati and I was accompanied by
Olivier Desmaipos. Ce journal s'achève. Demain, rendez-vous à 8h pour la prochaine édition d'information. Ce sera avec le duo Jean-Jacques Foucault, Glory